Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going in Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going in Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick-butt show called Stephen Larson's Going in Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Shocking events tonight on AEW Dynamite. Arn Anderson carries a Glock with him wherever he goes, and he has no bones about, quote, spilling a man's brains out if they try to take his car at a red light.
Yeah.
Also, Sammy Guevara beat Miro for the TNT title, but I'll be honest with you.
I think Arn's statement is the most shocking moment of the night, yeah.
I kind of feel like that's the case, but let's talk about Sammy Guevara winning this title off Miro, and then a little bit later on Twitter, Bobby Fish laid down a challenge for that title, and it's been accepted. That match is happening next week.
Yeah, on the anniversary show. They announced anniversary show next week.
Crazy stuff.
It is pretty crazy. I did not see Sammy winning. I did not anticipate it. I guess I could try to loosely connect some dots to have it make more sense. Not to say it was out of the blue. Miro's been undefeated for almost a year. He's had that belt for a while. I kind of feel like, especially with Kenny holding that belt, the AEW belt, for who knows how much longer. It could be till Full Gear. It could be till Revolution. It could be till Double or Nothing next year. We don't know when they get the wheels in motion for this Hangman Page storyline. So, yeah, let's pass around that TNT title a little bit. It breaks my heart to see Miro lose. I don't think Miro should ever lose because he's the absolute best. But, it was a good moment for the live crowd there in Rochester, a night where they celebrated the life of Brody Lee, the greatest TNT champion. We got the title change. A lot of really good moments involving the Dark Order, -1. When he came out and threw the papers at Uno, I just about lost it.
Yeah, so you had speculated in the past that maybe Hangman would be the one to bring the Dark Order back together. It does seem like that story, I would think, just from what we saw tonight, was probably wrapped up in terms of them being all on the same page. Yeah. And fittingly, Amanda Huber and -1 were the ones to get them back on the same page. I thought that was a nice little piece of storytelling. Who knows what it means for the actual Dark Order in terms of, I don't know that it's necessarily going to play into Hangman's story coming back whenever that's going to happen. But I thought that was a nice little moment. And that particular story beat, I'm glad they're not going to sort of run that into the ground any more than they already have. And you don't have to rely. Certainly it's not going to be around by the time Hangman comes back. Who knows if that's going to be next week or a month from now.
It could be next week because on next week's Dynamite, there is a casino ladder match to determine new #1 contender for the title. I don't know if they would wait and have that #1 contender actually challenge Kenny at Full Gear or not. But if you want
a ways off.
Hangman to make a fairly dramatic return, surprise entrant in that particular ladder match, picks up the win, says Full Gear, I want you, Kenny, and I'm going to take that title from you.
I kind of feel like Hangman needs a couple more physical trials than a ladder match with a bunch of randos, especially now with the Super Elite being at like full strength with Adam Cole there now, et cetera, et cetera. Kenny Omega seeming to have his I mean, it could still be next week in a different manner. I mean, given that the Super Elite's taken on Bryan Danielson and all the other faces. Yeah. I mean, there could be something there, maybe. I mean, the Super Elite still have numbers on them. So, I mean, it's possible that it happens there, or maybe they wait a little bit longer. I don't know, but it is interesting. The one thing that I kind of found interesting was watching MJF come out and drop his promo, and I want to get your thoughts on this. We've talked about this a little bit, but, you know, he says there are 4 pillars of AEW: Sammy, Darby, himself, and a Jungle Boy. And it's interesting that he's saying that because 6 months ago, even a year ago, I would be like, yeah, these are the guys they're the obvious guys that are going to be holding down the company. I don't know if that's necessarily true anymore, given how many people are coming into AEW. This is something we've talked about lately. As you can see, I mentioned this pre-show. We got some new graphics here. I wanted to update them for the new arrivals. There's a lot of people I had to leave off.
Yeah.
This graphic right here. A lot of names coming through. Do you still see AEW originals in the same light as you did 6 months ago?
I do. You know, I think obviously when AEW started, those were the 4 wrestlers that AEW really took a lot of time to build up into being potential main eventers. And tonight we see Sammy win his first championship, TNT title. Darby's already won it. I would not be surprised within the next year if Jungle Boy has his hand on that TNT title. It's obvious that they're still invested in those talents, but it's not to say they can't also invest in other talents. I mean, Flex and Apex here in chat says Dante Martin. He's been on TV a lot more of late, which is great because he's phenomenal. I think most of the people they're bringing in can kind of exist in storylines outside of the title scene for the most part, with the exception of Adam Cole at this juncture. He might be the most popular guy in the company after being there for 3 weeks or however long it's been, 3 weeks. The pops he gets, the chance he gets are incredible.
Yeah.
So assuming that Kenny will drop the title to Hangman, you know, we are under the assumption that MJF was be next in line, maybe to take that belt off Hangman. It might be Adam Cole at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of my thing. And I kind of focus on, look, Darby's huge. And I think Darby is like the number one pillar. I really do. And maybe partially because, I'll put it this way. I was a little bit disappointed that Max didn't go the way that the crowd wanted. And it seems obvious, MJF versus CM Punk. And maybe it's just because they don't want to give CM Punk his first loss. But they're at a point right now where if they did that, CM Punk would win against MJF. But, you know, I mean, they had the thing with Pillman. He hasn't really been in the title scene. And his promos lately have been just kind of flat, MJF. Like, you know, he talked about tonight, and I know it, look, everybody's on the same page. But again, it's the same thing. If he goes to Darby Allin, he says, let's bring up your uncle and a car crash that happened where your uncle died and you're in the car. I have no idea. I've not heard that story. Maybe he's told it before and I just didn't hear it. But like, I don't know. It's too, like, it's constantly too easy. You know, he puts him in there with Pillman and he's like, oh, let me talk about your dad and your mom and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's like, I just don't find MJF as interesting now as I did before when he was mixing up with like Cody and even Jericho, which really wasn't that long ago. I thought the Jericho stuff was really good. And just in the last couple weeks, it's like, but I don't know. I feel like MJF needs to mix it up with one of the bigger names like he just did with Jericho,
Yeah,
but a hot name like Punk.
I do feel like MJF does better work when he's got like a long-term story he's doing. Ever since the Jericho stuff, it's just been, you know, for a week here, 2 weeks there, stories to kind of get him through. Now, if he's getting to another story with Darby, now maybe that's something they continue past maybe the next pay-per-view or something like that.
I mean, it's less. I mean, All Out was less than a month ago, so maybe I'm crowing about nothing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see. You know, obviously this is going to be a thing. Darby says he can't break me mentally. Who comes out of this feud on top? Darby versus MJF. They're sort of, I mean, Darby had a good point. He won the title, but, you know, MJF has had some big wins that are sort of on par with having a title. He's beat like Cody's beat Jericho. That's a pretty big deal. Who comes out on top? Darby versus MJF.
I mean, I would think MJF, because whether they have him primed for a title run after Page, or they're setting up with him for a match against Punk, maybe in 6 to 8 months. Regardless of which direction, they probably want him looking strong from a wins and losses perspective. That would be my guess. Darby had a really good run with the TNT title since then. I mean, he's still been winning tons of matches, so a win over Darby is going to be huge for MJF. That would be my gut, but we'll wait and see how the story plays out.
Yeah, it just felt like back 6 months to a year ago. It felt more like, okay, these are the young stars that are decidedly. But nowadays, with AEW being established the way it is, it feels a lot more like, dudes who are 29, 30, 31 could be coming out of WWE because their contracts are up. I mean, there's not a ton of them, but like Adam Cole's 32.
Yeah.
And it's like those guys could swoop in and sort of become the future and the present at the same time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just it's interesting how different, given especially the anniversary shows next week. It's interesting to take a look at AEW now versus then. It's a lot. It's a very different company.
It is a lot different. They've changed a lot in 2 years. I see your point about the four pillars. I think they're still pretty invested in all four of them. They're on TV all the time. I mean, Jungle Boy is the first to 50 wins. He seemingly has a match every week.
You and I have both noted
Dynamite or Rampage. So
you and I have both noted just how much Sammy Guevara has improved as a personality.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously in the ring, he's always been good in the ring,
but he's really
his
put
character
together
more than anybody out of those four. He's really become comfortable. He's put it together. He's now a mentor to his own guy, Fuego. And I mean, obviously Darby, he has proven that he can hang under the pressure, as has MJF. Jungle Boy's that one guy who they just need to give him the microphone, I think, and say, get out there and roll with it, because the only way he's going to learn, because I feel that's one element missing from him, is we need to know more about him. He just needs to talk to us more.
Yeah, that's true. It's interesting that you look at those four pillars. Sammy had a mentor in Chris Jericho. Darby has one in Sting. You could make the point that Christian's kind of made himself Jurassic Express's mentor. MJF never really had one. I guess you could say Tully, kind of, but not really. He doesn't really interact with Tully at all. That's mostly FTR.
In a small way, MJF came in ready for prime time.
Oh yeah,
he came in ready for prime time, and in a small way, in a way that Sting has sort of been Darby's mentor as of late. I mean, I know it probably goes back 6 months now. I don't know when Sting came into the company, but MJF for that period of time had Jericho, because he was part of the Inner Circle for a little while there, and they went hard on MJF and Jericho. And so whether it was on camera or off camera, Jericho, and before him, Cody, really took him under their wings, probably.
With Cody, very early days of AEW, where they were palling around.
Yeah. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm really curious to see. I joked about this in the pre-show. We talked about this on News Brief today, how Brian Cage said, Tony Khan's the only guy who's running creative besides the EVPs who take care of their own thing. And he said he might need some help. Now, I don't know if Cage is speaking, out of a desire to see his own career, be spotlighted in AEW. Certainly his wife seems to think so, the way she's tweeted. But there I'm curious to see. There's a lot of pieces that Tony Khan has to juggle, and I still insist that he probably has something more elaborate, but like a Google Doc, like a spreadsheet, because there was he had 2.0 coming in with Daniel Garcia, and he was featuring them, and he does a really good job at scheduling out the shows and featuring certain people that need the exposure and high profile losses. But a guy like Daniel Garcia, tell me he wouldn't work his way up into becoming a pillar of AEW.
Entirely possible.
There's a lot of dudes coming in. There's just so much talent out there, and it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next year, the next 2 years, where all these pieces land.
For sure. Specificity is Dead says MJF had multiple mentors. He just turns on his.
Yeah, exactly.
I stand corrected. Yeah.
But you can't tell me he's not learning from those guys.
Behind the scenes, 1,000%. That's not necessarily.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily talking about behind the scenes stuff, just like on camera stuff, and I neglected to remember the Cody stuff. So
the lighting on Rhodes to the Top during Cody's sit down on the couch interview segments, is atrocious. It's so flat on him, and he's got his head back here, and his head looks like a giant balloon.
Interesting.
I'm like, he's a super fit guy. You guys are lighting him to crap. Anyways,
maybe he has to do. Maybe he had to do the cinematography himself.
Is he blocking his own scenes, Cody?
He might be blocking his own scenes. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Several years ago, while dealing with severe anxiety, I learned the importance of talking to a therapist, but also discovered that it could be extremely difficult to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp is providing a safe and private online environment where your needs will be assessed and you'll be matched with your own licensed personal therapist.
BetterHelp isn't a crisis line, nor is it self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online, all without having to ever sit in another uncomfortable waiting room.
BetterHelp is dedicated to facilitating great therapeutic matches. Send your counselor messages at any time or schedule regular phone or video sessions. And they've made it free and easy to change therapists if needed.
And you don't have to limit yourself to counselors in your area. BetterHelp services are available worldwide, so you can find the expertise you need regardless of location.
We want you to start living a happier life today. As a Going In Raw listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/raw. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, DoorDash. You know, Steve, I found myself ordering with DoorDash a lot recently, like more than twice a month, way more. And sometimes it felt like I was paying just as much in delivery fees as I was for the actual meals. But then I signed up for Dash Pass, and now I'm saving money on the food I'm already eating.
I was once there with you, friendo, but now that I got Dash Pass, I get unlimited $0 delivery fees from thousands of restaurants, grocery stores, and convenience stores, saving me about $4 to $5 on each order I place. Dash Pass pretty much pays for itself if I order like twice a month.
And with 18,000 restaurants eligible for Dash Pass, maybe we'll even find a new favorite place to eat. But Dash Pass is about more than good eats. You can get flowers, pet supplies, even groceries delivered right to your door. So try a free month of Dash Pass now and watch those savings add up.
So if you're ready to save money on your DoorDash orders, DoorDash is offering a free month of Dash Pass right now. Stop spending money on delivery fees. Try Dash Pass from DoorDash today for free.
When you've got 0 delivery fees, you're free to get more because you can. Start your free month today. Anyways, let's get to it. So CM Punk was on commentary the whole show, and he was great. He was
Comes
outstanding.
out to a victory lap to kick things off. He couldn't, not allowed to jump into the crowd in New York. But yeah, no, he was outstanding on commentary. I thought he was
really good.
So much fun. We got at various points, we got a what a maneuver.
Yeah.
Enforcer texted us and noticed a Gorilla Monsoon reference.
Yeah.
When he was trying to shut down Tony for saying, I don't hate Adam Cole. He's like, oh, get out of here with that.
He was talking trash about Mox, talking trash about Cody. It was pretty great.
The entrance, yeah, that was great stuff.
Say
I thought he was really
supposed
good.
to cost a fortune. They were promoting Mox's book when he was making his entrance for his match, and Punk said something along the lines of, "He looks like a guy who can't even read, much less write." He said, "I wonder if it's a picture book."
Yeah, it was good stuff. The first match was, as usual on Dynamite, a banger. Could have been the main event.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy. Like you said, Adam Cole is the most popular guy in any company he might be a part of. Certainly here in AEW. And part of the joy of this match, number one, was a really good match. Jungle Boy had properly scouted Adam Cole, so he had a counter for everything in the first big chunk of this match. Tony Schiavone on commentary, as we said, really laying into Adam Cole, which is a great dynamic. I thought this was going to be towards a finish because we got Jungle Boy hitting this awesome Poison Rana, got a few near falls on Cole. Cole responds with a super kick. Tries a Panama Sunrise to the floor from the apron. Jungle Boy avoids that, but eats a kick on a suicide dive attempt. then hits a Rana over the rope, over the top rope to Cole, and that got what a maneuver from CM Punk.
Pretty great.
Jungle Boy ends up eating a super kick and a Panama Sunrise, and it shocks Adam Cole when he kicks out. It was a great little bit of camera work there. Cole loads up a boom, but Jungle Boy is able to avoid that, gets a snare trap on. Adam Cole starting to get close to the rope, so Jungle Boy tries to pull him back to the middle of the ring, but Cole's able to push him off. Jungle Boy at that point sort of grabs onto Cole, and they do that bit where they sort of push up against the ref. And so Cole is able to hit the mule kick low blow on Jungle Boy. And as he crumbles to the ground, he hits a boom, 4-3, and the win. Yep. Adam Cole is Elite. The Elite come down to revel in the celebration.
Before we hear from them, we go to commercial. We come back. Carl Anderson demands that the crowd welcome the Super Elite. He says to be the Elite, you have to have the Impact Tag Team titles. To be Elite, you got to have Adam Cole, Bebe. You got to have the AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega. You got to have the greatest tag team of all times. And although they are no longer champs, they are still EVPs. So Adam Cole takes the mic next, says he told us so. He told the world he's going to beat Jungle Boy, and he did it. And he did it by himself. He did it because he is Elite. And on top of that, Adam Cole is undefeated, Bebe. Brandon Cutler snatches the mic from him. Is about to talk. Excuse me. Nick takes it from Cutler.
Shut up, Cutler. Shut up, Cutler.
And says, I'm going to introduce the best promo to all of wrestling, Michael Nakazawa. And so the crowd starts chanting CM Punk. Nakazawa hears this. And he's like, I'm not going to talk. Hands the mic to Omega. And Omega says, my phone's been ringing off the hook. My social media mentions are all saying that I had the best match ever. My best match in AEW history. To which he says, that's cool. He says, Brian took it to his limit. But there's the problem. He couldn't get the job done when it counted. And the other problem is he has no record. Therefore, he can't get a rematch. He's never going to see Kenny Omega in the ring again. This brings out Brian
Danielson comes out, as I misname him again. He says, the people want a rematch. I want one, but you don't have the balls to give me one. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Kenny No Balls Omega. So the crowd starts chanting No Balls,
Kenny
No Balls.
No Balls.
Yeah. So he says, so now let's see if anybody in the Elite has any balls. I challenge any of you to a match on Rampage. Kenny says, wow, big words for a small man. Why Rampage? How about right now? And he says, today's your lucky day. And then Brian cuts him off and says, do you want to see us fight? He says, come on down, guys. And it's, the nerd crew of Christian,
Kazarian,
Jungle Boy,
Jurassic Express, yes.
Luchasaurus, creepy little bastard. So they all come down. And the Elite, he says, run, guys. So they all take off.
After that, we had Andrade interrupting a Lucha Brothers interview. He's asking where Pac is. And Andrade's assistant says, hey, it's been a while since you've defended your AAA tag titles. Andrade, well, it's been since Triple Mania. It wasn't that long ago. Andrade says he's got some friends who will take the belts off him. Phoenix says, anytime, anywhere. Who's it going to be?
Okay, so was there something, did I mishear this today, something about the clowns from AAA being an MLW, doing something in MLW?
Psycho Clown's going to be at a GCW show.
Oh, GCW. Okay. If it's some AAA guys, the clowns in AEW, I mean, if they're coming up here, maybe they'll do a shot in AEW. I mean, Laredo Kid would be kind of underwhelming because he's already been around in AEW. I if it's my preference, it's somebody new that we haven't seen in AEW.
Yeah.
And it would be AAA guys.
It'd be Dr. Wagner Jr. and Blue Demon Jr.
They're putting their epic rivalry aside.
To get those AAA tag titles, yes.
What if it's a heel ref?
Oh, I got it. It's Pagano and Chessman. Can they coexist, especially after what happened at Triple Mania?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
How about this? Oh, you can also bring Spider-Man Vikingo, and he can fight Lio Rush.
That's good.
Spider-Man.
That's good.
Battle of it. They could do the Spider-Man thing. Squeak, squeak, squeak.
That'd be great.
When's the next big AAA show? Do we know?
I don't know.
When's Rey to Reyes?
Yeah, that's a good question. That match is always great.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I'll have to look into that. After that, we had Dante Martin and Matt Sydal taking on Lee Johnson and Cody Rhodes. I actually thought Cody did a pretty good job of very subtly being a real asshole during this match. So, of course, boos rain down upon Cody as soon as he's making his introduction. So Arn's there trying to coach his team up, and he wants Lee Johnson to start. Cody says, no, I'm just going to start. And he starts, and Arn's upset. He's confused. You get Cody sucks chants coming in. And then eventually Cody's like, all right, I'll tag Lee in. And so Arn is trying to coach up Lee, and at one point he's talking to Lee, and Lee has his back to, I believe it's Matt Sydal, and Cody's in the corner like, keep your eyes on your opponent. Mm-hmm. Like there's like two coaches talking, at Lee.
Yeah, well, one of them has a gun. Continue.
Anyways, yeah, so Dante and Lee had this great back and forth. They get in each other's face. Cody gets in the ring, I guess, to kind of break it up or something. So Matt Sydal comes in too, and he kind of jaws at Matt Sydal a little bit and then clocks him.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, Cody, you're a jerk.
He's being a dick.
He's a jerk. So down the stretch, Dante hits a springboard moonsault. That gets him a 2. He looks for a tag. He fends off. Wow, I got this all wrong. Anyways, Cody is looking for a tag. He has to fend off Sydal and Dante. And so previously, Lee Johnson had been laid out on the floor. He eventually gets back on the apron. And Lee reaches through the ropes and pulls Cody, who's kind of stumbling around a little bit, to his corner, tags himself in, goes on a run, and eventually hits kind of a neck breaker finish to get the win.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping this was intentional. As soon as the match is over, Cody gets to the ring and stands in front of Lee Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the A camera, the hard camera.
Yeah.
So Tony goes down the ring to interviews Cody. He says,
Ooh, I got this.
Okay, go ahead.
So Cody said, because I got to do this Arn bit. Cody says, I know this audience waited a long time for this show. Cody calls out Malachi Black, and Arn says, Cody, stop talking. July 7th, Black came into our life. He's destroyed every one of us. It's your fight. The first time he destroyed you, you started taking your boot off. What's that about? Try not to go into Stone Cold here. He says, second time he got out of the ring to see me, to hell with me. You should have finished that fight. Black is an assassin. He'll do anything to win a match and destroy the man he's in there with. I would step in to take the fight, but I'm too old. Editor's note. Disagree hard.
He blocked.
He blocked a black mass with ease.
Yeah.
He says, there's two big differences between you and I. You pull up to a red light. Someone opens your car door, says, I want your car. You say, yes, please don't hurt me. They try that with me. I pull out a Glock and I spill his brains out. I didn't come to coach a loser. At least Lee listens to me. Come on, Lee, let's go. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I slipped in the Stone Cold.
That's fine.
It's kind of what I do.
Like,
I was dead. He said I pull out a Glock and spill his brains out. That is so grim.
It is very grim.
And he did the hand that sign.
Yeah,
with
it was
the
very
gun.
surprising. It was very surprising. Very surprising.
Oh, my God. That was and Cody was like,
yeah.
I don't think Cody was expecting that.
No.
Like, shoot or kayfabe.
Yeah. If this is...
Excuse my language. We can't even say shoot anymore.
If this is a story of Cody's life falling completely apart on screen, I'm all about it.
Yeah, it's kind of great. It's kind of awesome. It is. It's compelling.
It is.
I liked it. I liked everything about what I saw.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. We'll see where it goes. It seems like he wants another match against Malachi Black. And if that happens, I'm hoping that Malachi Black masses him into basically down on his luck Corbin. That's what I'm hoping.
I wonder if like they get out of that by just having the story continue. Malachi Black has done his damage.
Yeah.
It's done. He got the win in every possible sense. And now Cody's life is falling apart. So now I kind of feel like the real match is like the more Cody messes with Malachi Black, the further he sinks in. So he just needs to not mess with that guy and figure out who the hell he is anymore. And I don't know how you do. I mean, it's wrestling. You should do that through wrestling. But I kind of feel like Malachi Black has had has said his piece, and now he's got to move on. Because you can't have this, Cody gets his life back by beating Malachi Black. That'd be awful.
Well, you can't do that in the span of 3 weeks. No. If you take a year and do that, yes, that's a story you could tell.
Yeah.
That it culminates. Cody gets himself back together, and by doing so, and after he does that, he can then defeat Malachi Black. But you don't do that in the span of 3 weeks. You take your time with that anyways. After that, we had...
And it's also, one's last bit. Yeah. It's also telling that they intentionally fought one of the more loved face teams. It's not like they took on some people. So that made the crowd, besides being Cody and they're in New York, boo Cody. every time he was in there against Dante Martin.
You didn't have to put the caveat in there that they were in New York. You just said you could have said it's Cody. Cody gets boozed like most places.
They go down south, and Cody's not going to get booed there. There's plenty of play. Come on, you've seen our YouTube comments all the time. I don't get the hate for Cody. I don't understand it. There's a large swath.
No, he has his fans. I understand that.
Just saying.
Next, we had Moxley, Kingston, and Darby taking on Bear Country and Anthony Greene. It was cool to see Anthony Greene in AEW. I think he's been wrestling on Dark and Elevation. Of course, he was August Gray in NXT.
Don't you love it, man? The dude gets let go. They bring him in, and they have him dance with Sting. Isn't that great?
That's great. Yeah, no, he took the L. Mox and Eddie hit their finish on him, but then Eddie waves in Sting, and Sting, hits him with a Scorpion Death Drop.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was a short match. It was fun, though.
Yeah, no, if you're Anthony Greene, man, you're probably having an issue sleeping tonight. You're feeling so good.
Excited.
Holy crap.
I know.
I took a Scorpion. Like, there's only going to be a certain number of people who can be able to say at the end of the day they took a Scorpion Death Drop. And no man can escape the Deathlock. After that, we had a Ruby Soho, Britt Baker video package, kind of wrapping up their thing. Britt saying, hey, Ruby, back of the line with you. Ruby says next time it's not going to be whatever, sort of,
Oh, yeah, she said, I can't skip the line, so now I got to work my way back up. And get what I wanted before I even came here, the AEW Women's title.
Just a little bow on the top there. After that, we had a Matt Hardy promo in advance of the giant clusterfuck match, the HFO.
16-man tag match, yes.
This
HFO
is way too many people.
Orange Cassidy, Dark Order.
Yeah, he says Rochester has crap people who don't deserve good things. He gets cut off by the Pixies. It's Orange Cassidy, and then the Dark Order come out. So this is just a gigantic mess, mainly focusing on the fact the Dark Order cannot get on the same page, even if Tony Khan tells them, tweets at them and says, I have to. As Uno leaves because he's tired of it all, -1 and Amanda Huber come out. And Ty and Anna Jay and -1 throws the papers at him.
That I almost broke down there.
That was good stuff.
Yeah.
And Amanda says, "Hey, get it together, get back in there. You guys need it." So they get in there, they get the win, and they all shake hands and hug afterwards.
That finishing sequence, it was extended, like it felt like it took 3 minutes, but basically everybody in the Dark Order got their shit in.
They got their shit in, man.
It was great.
They all get their shit in.
It was great. John Silver running all around the ring, kicking and hitting people. Fantastic.
He's so much fun, dude.
Yeah, he is. Next, Lio Rush. He had a promo. He says Tony Khan's been talking to him, wanting him to be all elite. He says, I'm the man of the hour. I'm also a businessman. I'm LBO Lio, leveraged buyout Lio. He's explaining it. I don't understand economics that well. So I don't really get it, but at the end of it is he makes profits for himself as well as the company he represents. That's what I took from it, is that he makes money for himself. Yes, Steve.
Why is he wrestling then? I feel like what he was talking about would be far more lucrative than
But would it be
wrestling.
Fun? Maybe wrestling is just fun for him.
I mean, so are video games. Why didn't he just do that while he's LBOing people?
But here's the thing. Not everybody enjoys video games.
He does. I saw him play video games when I went to the 2K event. He was playing 2K also. It's not a very good video game.
All right. But just for the sake of our discussion here, let's say in kayfabe.
He's retired like 5 different times.
LBO
Clearly,
Lio,
it's not that fun for him.
It's not like video games.
LBO Lio, you like this gimmick for him? Where are they going to go with this?
I mean,
without confusing this, because I watched this, I was like, "Wait, fucking what? LBO? What? You're Leo? What do you? Why is all this? What is all this Shutterstock footage of Wall Street and numbers and
my hope is
Succession
is every week that he comes in and talks about some other aspect of finance, like mortgage-backed securities, crypto,
short sells,
all that stuff." Maybe then I'll pick up a
predatory lending. He's going to be, I'm the predatory lender.
His finisher, the subprime loan?
Yeah, exactly. The variable APR.
Mm-hmm. The balloon payment, huh?
A balloon payment. That's what it is. Oh, what a mess we were in 10 years ago.
Oh, yes.
That was more than that, huh?
It's about 13.
Yeah. All right. So after that, I swear, like Tony's like, all right, listen, you guys have 1 minute Learn how to speed talk. Yeah, Leo, the red card. There you go.
Let me ask you this: did they cut in kind of late to this FTR promo for you too? Because
it was
by the time
he was talking so fast.
By the time it came from commercial back to FTR, Dax was already talking.
Yeah, that could be. That sounds right.
There's a couple instances where I felt like that happened.
All I got was we were rejuvenated. That's fine. We're rejuvenated.
And that's
we're
bad news.
We're back on track.
The tag division, top guys out. All right, after that we had Dan Lambert and Men of the Year out for the promo.
Dude, can we just talk about this as opposed to just recapping what they had to say?
Sure.
Because basically it's this.
Don't let Dan Lambert talk anymore. Let Men of the Year talk.
Lambert just talks and talks about men living in basements. Scorpio Sky talked about his accomplishments. Karate Man talked about his accomplishments. Karate Man doesn't need anybody talking for him, and Scorpio Sky doesn't need anybody talking for him.
Nope.
And honestly, Dan Lambert has such go-away heat with me at this point. I don't care about him. I don't want to see him on my TV. I'm over it. I'm tired. I'm done with it. And I feel like he is rubbing off on Sky and Karate Man. I don't care about these guys because I care so little about Dan Lambert.
I was with
you. And I don't want to feel that way.
Here's the thing. I was with you until Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page were actually given an opportunity to actually talk for themselves this week. And I'm like, oh, I remember why I like these guys. Because they're good on the mic. They're good in the ring. And now what needs to happen is they need to talk less and win more.
Yeah. I mean, the crowd doesn't care. So it's going to be a process for them.
It will be.
I mean, I like them too, and I know that they're good talkers. I know they're good in the ring. It's just, man, as long as they're with Lambert, I just don't see anything.
I understand
at all.
I understand that. But now maybe this is the start of something where maybe they're realizing, okay, we've had a lot of Dan Lambert. Maybe now we should move the spotlight from Dan Lambert to where it should be, Men of the Year. Because those are the guys that we're trying to get over through this whole process. Maybe they recognize Dan Lambert is impeding that. So, yes, maybe Dan Lambert will kind of be there, introduce Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page. Let them do their talking. They don't need anybody talking for them. They're really good on the mic. They don't need Dan Lambert. They don't need America Top Team. They don't need them. I think that's just the part that bugs me is that Dan Lambert's not adding anything to their presentation. He's taking away from them.
They've been fumbled from the beginning.
Yeah, they
as
have.
A team. They really have been. Honestly, if we had Page as we see him in his vlogs, and if we see Sky as we see him on Wrestling with the Week, they would be super over. They would be. And I get they wanted them to be bad guys, and that's fine. But I don't know. Just for me, they're way too likable to be bad guys. So I don't know. I feel like
Ethan
they're
Page
kind
is
of
a
at
pretty
nothing right now.
bad guy. But maybe that's just me because I don't watch his vlogs.
And that's a conversation we've had before. Mm-hmm. It's like I saw a lot of his vlogs and I saw his Goofy Impact stuff, and even all that before he was heel with the North. I was like, oh man! And then his story's all inspirational because he was like, he got like super fit. Mm-hmm. He had these great vlogs where he talked about how he did it. I'm like, man, that's you. And it's a weird thing because I could separate like Adam Cole from.
Well, like we said, it's all how we were introduced to that person. I think
you're right. I think that's correct, though. That's correct. It's like Adam Cole. The first I remember of Adam Cole was him joining Bullet Club. Is when
the first I remember of Ethan Page is when I saw him in the first Casino Battle Royal at All In, and he was healing it up that entire match, and I was wildly entertained by him.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. They're both really talented guys. They'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Lambert can go. He can go. After that, we had a video promo. Hikaru Shida is looking for her 50th win, and she's listing off some of her accomplishments. Serena Deeb says, hey, you want that 50th win? I'm going to make you work for it next week. Shida's going to get that 50th win. All confidence points.
Not about all confidence points. Not about all confidence points.
What match what else is going on next week? Do you have it written down in your notes?
I just wrote down what they announced that was new. I said it's the Elite versus
okay.
Bryan Danielson and friends.
Oh, that's a Rampage. Okay.
There's the ladder match. There's this match, the Shida Serena Deeb. I think that's the only three they announced for next week. Well, I guess then maybe Bobby Fish versus Sammy Guevara. That'd get all my confidence points. Sammy Guevara retaining the TNT title against Bobby Fish.
Yeah, that's all the confidence points. But Hikaru Shida's pretty high up there. They're not going to have her lose, man.
After that, we had the Bunny and Penelope Ford taking on Anna Jay and Ty Conti. Commentary was pretty quick to mention that Conti and Jay had matching gear, but it wasn't Dark Order themed.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
As if to say maybe they're on a different page than the rest of Dark Order 2. There's this one point where Penelope Ford hits this cool, like she does a Matrix thing right into a stunner on Anna Jay. That was neat.
It's pretty neat.
I hadn't seen her do that before.
Stuff.
That was great. So the finish saw Ford miss a moonsault. Ty Conti is hitting a Ty KO on Bunny on the floor. And then Anna Jay hits Penelope with a kick right to the Queen Slayer. Ref calls for the bell. Ford did a great job selling the Queen Slayer. Afterwards, -1 runs out to the ring. Congratulate Ty and Anna Jay.
Yeah, it was good stuff. After that, we had a great video promo for Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill. No DQ. When's this one going down? Is this next week?
It's a triple threat. It's Jade versus Thunder versus Nyla.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, versus Nyla.
It's on
yeah,
Rampage this week.
Yeah, ooh, that's going to be good.
Yeah, Rampage
That's
is looking
gonna be
really good this week. They got this.
Okay.
They got Danielson versus Nick Jackson.
That's going to be holy shit. Nick Jackson, when he's solo, he is so damn good. He is so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a shame those guys never want to break up. I'd love to see Nick Jackson on a solo tear.
Oh,
that'd be so much fun.
It would be fun.
He is so much fun right now as a heel.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like it's insane. It's funny even when watching him on the Canyon episode of Dark Side. Like Matt cuts him off quite a bit. Like you and I do that to each other sometimes because we know where we're going with a point and we just do that. But like Nick as a heel, he's so good on the mic.
It's weird because you mentioned the Dark Side, and Nick's very soft spoken.
Yeah,
and it's the same when he's a face. He's very soft spoken. It's like he mumbles half the time.
Right.
But when he's heel, it's like something he can unlock something within himself that just brings out so much personality. It's great.
It's like, yeah, it's a whole nother level. It's awesome.
He starts cawing like a bird. It's great.
Yeah. So then we had the MJF promo. He comes out, says, we're on the precipice of something special here in AEW. He says, there are a handful of men here, pillars, that will be pushing this company forward in the future. 4 men, Jungle Boy, I beat him. Sammy Guevara, I beat him. Darby Allin, whatever. The most important pillar, me. Without me, this company ain't shit. I deserve to be the AEW World Champion. Tony, Tony, I like you. We're friends. Out of all the cons in pro wrestling, you're in my top 2. Crowd starts chanting CM Punk. He says, whatever. He says, you know, if they don't give me what I want, I have a friend from my MLW days on speed dial. His name is Bruce Pritchard.
And CM Punk says something like, basically, well, who doesn't have Bruce Pritchard on speed dial?
So if you're in the wrestling industry, everybody does. So Darby comes down. MJF is like, hey, you know what, man? You're number 2, and that's good. A lot of people are number 2. He says, but I'm number 1. I'm the Jordan around here. And Darby says, you know, you just keep saying you're going to go, then just go. No one would care. I'm AEW till death. And how can you be the number 4 life? And how can you be the number 1 pillar when I've been the only one between us to win a title? MJF says, you know what, man? I respect you because you're straight edge. He says, do you know why he is? And he mentions a story about Darby being a little boy, getting in the car with his uncle who was drunk at the time, got into an accident, and your uncle died that night. That's a travesty, but do you know why? It's because the wrong man died. And he's trying to get under Darby's skin. And he says, go ahead and hit me. And Darby says, no, I won't. You won't break me mentally, man. And he says, just keep on talking. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to break you mentally. And he's like, come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. We're done here. So he leaves.
Yeah.
So is the story. MJF's going to try to break Darby Allin mentally. MJF might get a win, but Darby Allin's not going to be broken mentally.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's probably going to be it. Then we got a Sammy Guevara Miro video package. Sammy is questioning why Fuego put up his car. He said he didn't know he was going to do that. Miro then suggests that Fuego might have a gambling problem. And Sammy says, you know what? After become TNT champ, I'll buy Fuego a new car.
A new car.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hell of a match.
Oh, this was fantastic.
Match.
This was great.
This was really, really good stuff. Miro choking Sammy out with his own chain. CM Punk saying, hey, you walked into the match with a chain. You're allowed to do that. The hair or anything you walk in with.
Yeah, yeah. So Miro has the upper hand for a good chunk of the beginning of the match. Eventually, Sammy fun splashes Miro and himself out of the ring rams Miro into the ring post, the ring steps. He's looking for a shooting star press back in the ring. Miro catches him, hits a belly to belly. Sammy tries for running knee. Miro catches that, hits a German suplex, follows with a clothesline, then another. He's looking for a third, but then Sammy counters that with a Spanish fly. That was impressive. A standing Spanish fly.
Was crazy. The crazy shit to me was when he tried that shooting star press, and Miro just caught him and threw him over his head.
I know, it was great.
That was like, holy crap.
That was great. So Sammy follows with a super kick, a shining wizard, goes for a pump kick. Miro sidesteps that, goes for a German suplex. Sammy lands on his feet, and then Miro charges Sammy. Well, Sammy sidesteps, and Miro tumbles basically over the ring post out of the ring to the floor. Sammy falls with a massive dive over the turnbuckle, takes out Miro, gets him back in the ring, goes up top. Miro gets up, so Sammy jumps off the top rope, and then Miro hits Uranagi. That gets him a 2 count. He looks for a Machka kick. Sammy avoids it, hits a jumping knee, then another, then Enziguri, goes up top. Miro punches him in the face. He's looking for a superplex. Sammy fights him off, hits this leaping cutter off the second rope. He's looking for the GTH, but he can't pick up Miro. So instead, Miro hits a Machka kick. That gets him a 2 count. He's looking for game over. Sammy rolls out to the floor. And then Miro just goes to each corner, starts ripping the turnbuckle cover off the top turnbuckle. Well, Fuego gets on the apron. He starts getting in Miro's face. Miro punches him off the apron to the floor. Sammy hits a running knee from behind, which sends Miro into one of the exposed turnbuckles. Sammy follows with the Tornado DDT, gets Miro up for a GTH, hits it. Sammy goes up top, hits the 630 to get the win.
When he went up for the 630, you think it was going to be the end of him for doing that?
The end of Miro?
End of Sammy.
Oh, for not pitting him after the after the GTH. Yeah, I thought that Miro was going to catch him with the game over or something.
When he hit that, I was like, "Oh shit!"
I was surprised. I was really surprised.
Like once Fuego ran down, I was like, "Oh, what?"
I know.
That's usually the sign that there's a title change.
What I was expecting was for Sammy to lose, and then someone's to come back at the end of the show to step up to Miro.
Yeah,
that's what I was expecting to happen.
Yeah,
didn't happen. We got a new champion
and a new car.
Now we gotta have a video package on Dynamite on Wednesday of Sammy taking Fuego car shopping.
Is he gonna take him to a real dealer or CarMax? Still trying to scrape that stupid sticker off the back.
They make it tough to do, man.
Mm-hmm.
You want to answer a few questions? Yeah,
I got a thread up here on the Patreon. We got plenty of people in the Twitch chat, so load up those highlighted messages and ask your questions.
Yes.
Sent Merc says, hair on my mic. All Out was AEW's most important show since the first Double or Nothing. I think everyone would agree with that. Does this solidify All Out as AEW's equivalent to WrestleMania? I think you and I have always been on the same page. We kind of feel like All Out's our WrestleMania,
considered
right?
It, yeah. It's the successor to Allin, which was their unofficial first show. It's the show that launched AEW more or less. So yeah, I've always kind of considered All Out their WrestleMania.
Do you think if they were to go for a WrestleMania spectacle-esque show, they would probably do it with a new show as opposed to one of their existing pay-per-views, right?
You don't think they try to move All Out to like Soldier Field in Chicago?
I think All Out has such a strong affiliation with the venue.
They couldn't because at Soldier Field, because football season starts around that time. So they
could Double or Nothing move to Allegiant?
It's possible.
I think they'd probably do that instead of trying to up. I think All Out's probably always going to be there because of the connection to the venue. That's just my.
It's possible.
You know, they have a sentimental streak to them. You know,
they do definitely. Cody Miles says the Darby car story is true. He has told it in the past. It's the reason for the paint skeleton motif. He said half of Darby died that night.
I figured as much. I'm not as knowledgeable on the lore of Darby Allin, but I figured that was a real thing, and they're obviously cool mining it. But I don't know. It's just like the second time in a row MJF goes for that kind of thing. I don't find it that interesting,
Mm-hmm. Our Lopez Ortiz. I think the MJF Darby feud is really interesting because I think this is the first feud between two of the younger stars going head to head. It's usually been young guy versus established star.
Wait, what? Sorry.
I think the Darby MJF feud is interesting because it's the first time.
Two of
the younger stars are going head to head.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's see here. NWO Dennis Rodman, if Redragon were to go to AEW, should they stay away from any Adam Cole storylines? No, I don't think so. But also don't feel the need, because they had such a wonderful history.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even predating NXT.
They don't need to run from
Obviously,
that. No.
That's why they don't need to run from that. I think there's a lot that they can mine there.
Definitely. Specificity is dead. Well, Orange Cassidy was also there at the first show, who was more of a young pillar than Orange Cassidy.
That is, well, he's been wrestling for like 15 years.
Yeah. He's in his mid-30s.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. The other guys are in their early or mid-20s, I think. Like, how old is, Sammy, Darby. Yeah, they're all like young dudes. Who's the oldest of them, do we know? Like, just off the top of your head? Because Jungle Boy's like 25, right?
He's in his early mid-20s. Darby might be the oldest.
Darby?
Because I think he's
Orange Cassidy's
27?
Orange Cassidy's 37. Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. I mean, I get the point. He's just an AEW original as opposed to a young dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I don't know about this. Patrick Sparks says, the crowd has been so good just 30 minutes into the show. What is your opinion on the top 3 crowds AEW has been in front of to date? You got to figure that the Grand Slam crowd, everybody said how electric that crowd was.
Yeah.
But then, like, I don't know. We were at, I'll tell you this. I have never been in a crowd. I know it's not AEW, but I've never been a part of a crowd like Allin.
Yeah.
And I do kind of remember that being a more electric crowd than Double or Nothing, which was still a very electric crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'd say probably last week's the Grand Slam crowd was like super electric.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I could just speak from experience. The Double or Nothing crowd was huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when they had like 13 wrestlers ringside because of COVID, that was huge also.
Shane's birthday tweet says, Thunder Rosa, Jade, and Nyla all need wins. Who do you think goes over and who gets the pinfall? I think Jade pins Nyla Rose.
That is probably exactly correct. Yeah, I could see that. Ben Whiteman. Cody's crazy entrance for a random episode of Dynamite for random tag team matches early leading to something. Not just him being a total mark for himself. Like you said, he was acting like a dick during that match.
Yeah, he really was. He was.
Mm-hmm.
Hood Alex says, to me, MJF likes cheap shots on purpose because he's trying to push buttons. Yeah. It's just not that clever.
Yeah.
Because
the Fry King brings up the Darby was in a feud with Sammy around one of the Revolutions. That's right. Totally true.
That's right. Gaming with Cage. Should Wyndham Rotunda debut in AEW as himself or a new fiendish-like character? I just hope he comes up with something that's unique and original and something that he's really invested in, that he has the freedom to see through.
Yep, I agree with that. I think that it will be a more interesting character as opposed to just him in black trunks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Nope. Let's see, we talked about that. Moses opposes from first to last. Power rank which of the 4 young pillars will hold the AEW World Championship? Guevara, Darby Allin, MJF, Jungle Boy. So, in my opinion, it's going to go MJF, Darby Allin, Guevara, then Jungle Boy. Actually, no. Guevara's last.
Yeah, I'd go MJF, Darby, Jungle Boy, Sammy.
Guevara. Yeah.
Agreed. Dang MQ, I'd love for MLW to be part of the Hidden Door, Forbidden Door, as we can get Jacob Fatu, Alex Hammerstone, Los Parks, Tom Lawler, and Mil Muertes in AEW. Yes, please.
I agree. Absolutely. I agree. Let's see here. Senior Nerd, what's the story behind MJF and Bruce Pritchard? Did Brother Love try to get MJF to sign to WWE before he went to AEW? Almost certainly. Would not shock me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Max.
Zach on the run. Do you think Cody phasing to a heel could lead to him reversing his rule that he can't go for the AEW title?
It's always possible. It's wrestling. They can write whatever they want.
Yep.
But then he wouldn't be able to get on a conference call and say, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I kind of doubt it would happen.
Yeah.
But it's wrestling. You can kind of do whatever.
I'd be more inclined to think so a few years down the line. Specificity is dead. Do you think this Miro loss will set up the debut of CJ Perry? He has two things that are important to him. And when his God fails him, he brings in the only thing as important to him, his wife. That's an interesting
That's an incredibly good point.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a
good.
lot. That's good. Dan Daniel says, with all this talk of young pillars, where does Ricky Starks fit in all this?
I think when MJF was talking about young pillars, it was all people who signed to the company like at its inception.
OG guys, yeah.
Ricky Starks
Ricky
is
is 31. He's 31.
and he's great.
He's great. He's amazing. He said he considers himself an AEW homegrown talent, but he wasn't there at the very beginning.
Crossface Chicken Stain, Power Rank Streams. You would rather raid Dan Lambert, Joe Gacy, or Christian Cage? It's Christian Cage.
Dan Lambert. Because I refuse to. He wouldn't be like neither Lambert nor Gacy would be like they are on TV. But I think Lambert. Here's the thing about Lambert. He's a big fan of pro wrestling.
He is.
And if he's got a stream going, I'd be curious. I'd like to get our name. You know, look, I maintain Lambert was really good during his time in Impact. They had a cool story for him. This is trash. It's just not good. That doesn't mean he's not good. It just means what they have him doing is
great.
crap.
No, it's
you
not.
know, I'm not going to put it on him. And as long as he's doing that, then I don't really want to see him. But if they had him doing something cool, I'd be down for it because I like him.
Yeah.
Diehard Homer has a great question, and I love answering this. How badly does Ring of Honor regret helping out, put on All In? A lot.
Immensely.
They have learned that lesson. They will never help anybody again. They absolutely regret it.
Monstrosity. Hey guys, do you think AEW will have a Hall of Fame? And if they do, power rank the first three people in. AEW,
Jericho,
AEW Hall of Fame. You have Jericho, Mox, and Omega.
I would say
Jericho, Mox, and Cody.
Yeah. Well, Mox isn't going to retire anytime soon. I'm just thinking of guys who are like,
Well, they could wait 20 years to have the Hall of Fame.
let's say they have it in 5 years. Jericho might be retired in 5 years.
Maybe.
He could be.
Brody.
Oh, Brody, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Brody.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, that's good. Brody, Jericho, Bret Hart. I'm the first one to hold the title. All right, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later. He was the first AEW champion.
He was the first to hold the belt. Doesn't make him the champion. Bye, everybody.
Exactly. We'll cut that last part you said out, please, when you edit this thing.
No, I put it together. Bye, everybody.